What's up, Star Wars nerds? And on this edition of Hyperdrives, I'm going to be reviewing for you the 3 new figures from the first wave for TVC of 2026, starting with arguably the most popular, most wanted character from the series, the Acolyte. We're finally getting him, the Stranger, aka Chimere, and what a figure this looks to be. Let's take a look at the card back. Awesome image. Really loving this image they took. Got him with his lightsaber drawn, ready to strike, wearing the really cool helmet. Very glad they went with an image like that. Here's a look at the figure in the blister. Let's take it over to the back. You can see this is VC382. And I do like that kind of pale blue they used to offset the darker colors around the image. So the card back is definitely a win for me. Now let's take a look at the figure itself. Alright, so here is everything out of the packaging. Let's take a look at the accessories. He comes with his unlit lightsaber, where it's the 2 parts combined, so kind of an extra large hilt. There is the mini saber that comes off lit. Looks pretty good. And there is the main saber. Nothing particularly fancy about these, but they are a nice glossy black. And by far my favorite accessory of this figure, the helmet. This thing is really cool. Very happy with this. We'll take another look at it once I have it on the figure in a bit. Alright, so let's take a closer look at the figure itself, starting with the head sculpt. Awesome head sculpt. Very good likeness to the actor. Hasbro is getting so good at these TVC head sculpts. I really don't see how they could have done a better job in a 3 3/4 scale. Of course, he has the soft goods poncho, and it is a double layered poncho, front and back, which is nice. And I'll go ahead and take that poncho off so you can see the rest of him. All right, and here he is with the soft goods removed. Now there's his outfit. The bands of his outfit are part of the mold. It's not like a separate soft plastic piece. On his left arm, he's got a really cool gauntlet with some very good sculpting on it, and on the right arm, he's got what appears to be dirt on his forearm. I'm not sure what the significance of that is. I haven't watched the show in ages. Flipping over to the back, he does have some nice details on his shirt that they didn't skimp out on. And there's a look at his pants, and a nice little touch there. They did add some dirt paint apps for his shoes and at the bottom of his pants, because this guy is doing a lot of fighting in the forest, and with baggy pants like that, I'm sure they're going to get a little bit muddy. Alright, so here he is with his helmet swapped on. Again, this is a swappable helmet, and as awesome as that head sculpt is, this is the way to go with this figure because they did a great job on that helmet. Great detail, great paint apps. They nailed the look of the helmet on this one. So let's go through the articulation. It is on a ball swivel joint there, and so he gets plenty of range of motion with that helmet on. Got a ball hinge at the shoulder and one at the elbow, and it does get 90 degrees, if not a little bit more, so that's all good. And then you've got swivel wrists with a hinge, which is great. Definitely need that for lightsaber wielders, so all good there. At the waist, it's got a ball joint there, and he gets pretty decent range, pretty average range, I'd say, going forward and back. He does not have a thigh cut, so that is noticeable there. Not sure how big a deal that is or not. He does have a giant, massive ball joint at the knee that can swivel, and it does get 90 degrees barely. And it does have rocker ankles, but it is a little bit restrictive going forward and back. Side to side is fine, but forward and back is a little bit restricted because of the pants. Alright, so let's get this guy on the spinny. So overall, this is an excellent figure. The articulation is good. The cloth goods works, but by far the highlights of this figure are the head sculpt and that awesome helmet. Next up is Padme Amidala from Attack of the Clones. Really excited about this one. I've been wanting this version of Padme for a while. I love this version of her, and there is a look at the card back. This is an image from her on Tatooine just before they left to go to Geonosis, and there's a look at the figure inside. I'm very happy they went with this version of the outfit, complete with her poncho slash cape thingy. And here's a look at the back. This is VC383, and I'm good with the choice of red to kind of offset the just plain muted colors of the image and her outfit. All right, and here is everything out of the packaging. She just comes with 2 accessories, 2 different blasters. She's got this very tiny version that at least has 2 different paint apps, and a long barreled version of the same blaster. Not sure how screen accurate these are. I don't recall her having 2 different blasters, but at least you got a short barrel and a long barrel choice. All right, so let's take a closer look at the figure, and once again, Hasbro hitting it out of the park with these face sculpts. That is not Natalie Portman, no doubt about it. Great looking head sculpt, and check out the hair braids in the back. You know, it's kind of a jumbled mess, and they did a really nice job capturing that with the sculpt. Taking a look at her utility belt, she does have a holster there on the side. By the way, that will only hold the short-barreled pistol. And then she's got a couple of utility pouches there. She's got a nice little metallic bracelets on her arm, and the boots have a nice sculpt to them. The boots are clean, no weathering on this figure at all. But check out her cape. This thing is sculpted beautifully, really has the appearance of real cloth, and it's a very soft plastic. I think softer than normal. It's kind of flowy. It's hard to explain. It just feels like they used a lot thinner, lighter plastic for it, and it works really well. I'm really happy with the sculpt of that piece. Okay, here she is with the cape off. Let's go through the articulation. Standard ball joint there, so plenty of range of motion for her head. Ball hinge at the shoulder, and her arm gets way above her shoulder. Ball hinge at the elbow, swivels as well, and it does get 90 degrees, a little bit more than 90 degrees. And then just a standard swivel wrist as we are accustomed to with female figures. Not a big deal since she's not a force wielder. She does have barbell hips, and she does have a cut at the thigh, which is great. She's got a ball hinge at the knee. It does just barely get 90 degrees. And then a ball hinge ankle with rocker ankles. So overall, super happy of the job Hasbro has done with this version of Padme. This is a definitive version of this character. The face sculpt is amazing. They nailed the outfit. The only minor thing they could have done a little bit better to make it perfect was add just a tad bit of weathering to her boots. And the third and final new character from this first wave of TVC is Shaak Ti. Of course, there were two other figures from the wave. We had the Emperor's Wrath Vader on a card, and then the Darth Maul from Maul's Shadow Lord, but those two figures are repacks, and so I'm not going to be reviewing those for you today. We're just focusing on the new figures, but let's take a look at this amazing Shaak Ti card back. They went with the blue name pill color, which is cool because she does wield a blue lightsaber, and there's a great image chosen for the card back from the Geonosis arena scene, lightsaber drawn of course, and there she is in the bubble. Looking on the back, she is VC384. So yeah, very cool design. Really happy with this card back for Shaak Ti. So now let's get her out of the packaging. And here she is looking absolutely fantastic. She comes with two accessories, her unlit lightsaber with a nice gold paint apps there at the end and nice metallic silver there. And there is the lit version of the saber. Again, nice silver and gold metallic paint apps. So solid lightsabers with this figure. All right, so let's move in for a closer look. Really good head sculpt. The paint apps on her face are a little glossier than I would have liked, a little reflective. But other than that, the paint apps on her head sculpt are amazing. Look at the detail there on the back of the head, and it just looks so good. Her Leku head tails are nice and long. They didn't skimp out on the sculpt for that. Looks great. But the standout feature on this figure is the clothing. Just a nice combination of cloth goods, very well done, soft plastic, patterns. It all looks so good. Now the hood is stitched down similar to how they did with Ben Kenobi, but I don't know how you would put a hood over her head anyways, the way it's shaped, so I'm perfectly fine with that. I would never be posing Shaak Ti with her hood over her head, so I think that is just fine. They really went all out on the outfit for this figure. So let's take a look at the articulation. Now, as you might expect, her head movement is a little bit constrained because of the shape of her Leku. So not a huge range of motion for her neck, but you know, what do you expect with that head sculpt? Now you've got a ball hinge at the shoulder. Arm gets way above her shoulder line. There is a ball hinge at the elbow, and it does get 90 degrees, so that's great. And then you've got, unfortunately, just the standard swivel wrist. I really wish Hasbro could figure out a way to give us hinges for the female figures, at least for the Jedi ones where you need it most. Now to me, the waist movement makes up for the lack of head movement. It is one of the best I've seen in TVC. Just the motion forward and back is just really, really good. So very happy with that. She does have barbell hips, and she's got the thigh cut at the top there, which is great. Ball hinge at the knee, which swivels and gets 90 degrees. Now at the ankle, there is a hinge, and you can rotate the feet, but the rocker ankles aspect of it is a little bit disappointing in my opinion. And what I mean by that is when you try to rock the ankle side to side, it doesn't really stay in place. It just goes back into the straight position. I've tried loosening them up and it doesn't really seem to help. Now a fix for that is you could turn the lower leg and have the main hinge facing side to side and then angle it, but that's not how rocker ankles are intended to work. So it's a real minor thing, but just slightly disappointing. But despite the minor issue I have with the ankles and the slightly glossy paint apps on the face, this is an absolutely amazing figure. It's maybe some of the best outfit design we've seen in TVC. They really did Shaak Ti justice with this one, and it is an early candidate for figure of the year for me. So TVC is really off to a great start for 2026 with 3 new figures in this first wave that are all bangers. Absolutely love all 3 of these. Definitely must buys for the collection. Thanks for watching.